All right, let's dive straight into mastering weight and balance physics. Because honestly, knowing this stuff cold is exactly how you're going to absolutely crush your ops and performance ground exam.
We're keeping this intro incredibly short today, mainly because we need to focus directly on why getting these specific calculations wrong has, well, terrifying real-world consequences. This isn't just about passing a test, right? It's about keeping you safe in the sky every single time you rotate. Listen, if you overload an aircraft, it performs like an absolute pig. You literally might not clear the trees at the end of the runway. Plus, you'll instantly void your insurance for being even 1 single kilogram overweight. Or much worse, you could actually pull the wings off in heavy turbulence. These aren't just your standard textbook warnings, guys. They're the strict, unforgiving realities of aviation physics. So, let's start with the weight portion of the exam. This is simply a measurement of how much total load your aircraft is legally and structurally allowed to carry. It is the absolute foundation for every single flight you'll ever take. Now, here is the exact definition of empty weight that you absolutely need to memorize. It includes the plane itself, the oil, brake fluid, and the unusable fuel. But it has absolutely zero usable fuel. Think of it as the baseline state of the aircraft sitting out down the ramp, just waiting for the fuel truck to show up. Conversely, maximum gross weight is the absolute ultimate limit you can hit when loading up. Exceeding this, well, it means the aircraft just isn't structurally strong enough for maximum G loading anymore. It's a hard stop, determined way back during the initial certification of the aircraft type, mainly because your wing spars can only take so much upward bending force before they literally fail.
So the really crucial point here is that to find your usable load, the weight you have left for passengers and gas, you simply subtract your empty weight from your max gross weight. Let's say your max gross is 2,400 pounds and your empty weight is 1,300 pounds. You're left with exactly 1,100 pounds. That 1,100 pounds is your entire budget for people, your bags, and your fuel, so you gotta choose wisely.
Also, keep in mind for your test that American aircraft companies like Piper, Beech, and Cessna, they use pounds and inches as their standard currency for all these load numbers. So even if you absolutely love the metric system, you're going to become intimately familiar with these imperial units during your flight planning. It's really just a rite of passage, a part of the aviation initiation. Okay, let's move on to the second half of the equation and see how this all builds together. Balance is all about exactly where you place that weight to keep your center of gravity in a safe spot. Because just having the right total weight, that's not enough. It has to be distributed correctly across the entire airframe to actually keep you flying straight and level. To wrap your head around this, just think of a childhood seesaw. That pivot point right in the very middle, that's your fulcrum. And any weight sitting directly on top of that fulcrum doesn't do anything at all to tip the scales. It is the exact point of perfect balance. Now, the arm is simply the measured distance from that balance point. And the absolutely crucial physics concept you need to grasp here is that a weight on a longer arm has way more leverage. It's exactly like using a longer wrench to turn a really stubborn bolt, right? The further out you grab that wrench, the more twisting force you're going to apply. And here is exactly how we calculate that force. You just take the distance from the fulcrum, the arm, and multiply it by the weight. That gives you your moment. This twisting force, which is measured in inch-pounds, is the core formula you'll be using over and over again on your exam. So lock this into your memory right now. Weight times arm equals moment. This example perfectly proves how that leverage actually works in practice. Look at this. A very light 20-pound weight placed way out at 40 inches creates a moment of 800 inch-pounds. And that exactly balances out a much heavier 80-pound weight placed just 10 inches away. So you see, distance radically multiplies the effect of the weight. You really must get this math right, guys. Why? Because having your center of gravity out of limits by as little as a single centimeter can literally make your aircraft completely uncontrollable in the sky. The physics here are absolute, and the flight control tolerances are incredibly, incredibly tight. So, study hard and make sure you memorize those formulas. But before you go, I want you to ask yourself this. The next time you casually toss a heavy flight bag into the very far back of the baggage compartment, is that minor convenience really worth shifting your center of gravity closer to the edge of an unrecoverable stall? Seriously, think about it. Anyway, please like and subscribe for more hyper-focused ground school explainers. Keep pushing toward that PPL, and I'll catch you in the next one.